So I'm going to pull up the menu and we're going to set the sleep time right here. It's near the bottom where it says set sleep time, and I'm just going to hit that button right there. Okay? And if we review what it says set the sleep time of night or day when you are most often in the middle of your regular nightly sleep. For example, at 4 a.m. every night, you are asleep 99% of the time, so you would set 4 a.m. as your time. Now, you have to understand what the whole concept of setting this time here is. Whatever time you set, okay, that is the time where you will go, the app will change from one set of instructions for one day to the next set of instructions for the following day. For example, if I set this to 4 a.m., this sleep time, and it will always be 4 a.m., okay? The sleep time never changes. Once we set it, that's what it is for all, the entire time you use the app, okay? So if we are currently on day 35 of the diet, okay, and we're at 11:59 p.m., okay, and then 1 minute later we're at midnight, we would still be on day 35. Okay, the day does not change just because the clock has struck midnight, okay? For the purposes of this app, okay, the day and the directions associated with that day change when you hit the sleep time. So at 1 a.m., it would still be day 35. At 2 a.m., it would still be day 35. At 3 a.m., it would still be day 35. At 3:59 a.m., it's still day 35. At 4 a.m., the app is going to automatically change from day 35 to day 36. And with that, it will change the daily directions, okay? Whatever directions it was telling you on day 35 that you were to follow for day 35, will change at 4 a.m. and at 4 a.m. going forward for the next 24 hours, it's going to show you the directions for day 36. The main purpose of setting this sleep time is actually for night shift workers, okay? Because for them it can be hard to determine what day they're on and what directions to follow. I realize most people work during the day and sleep at night, but the real purpose of this is to benefit night shift workers so that they can set a sleep time that corresponds to what their lives are like, and that their app will always tell them 24 hours a day what they're supposed to be doing at any given time. So that's the main reason. The other reason we set a sleep time is if you know, with this diet, we have alternate between days that you eat and days that you don't eat, okay? And if you are eating, okay, on a certain day, let's say it's, you know, on Wednesday, and you're eating dinner, you're eating lunch on Wednesday, you're eating dinner on Wednesday, you eat a snack on Wednesday night. Just because the clock strikes midnight on Wednesday doesn't mean you necessarily can't eat anything after midnight, okay? It's when you go to bed. You basically, you eat on that day and as much as you want, basically, and as often as you want, okay, until you go to bed. So what the purpose of this sleep time is you want to set it not when you go to bed. Like if you usually go to bed at midnight or 1 a.m., you wouldn't set this for, 1 a.m. You want to set this sleep time for when you're almost always going to be in the middle of your sleep. Okay, so basically, by doing this, you can eat up until the time you go to sleep, and then while you're sleeping, you will hit this sleep time, and when you wake up, there'll be a new set of directions there, okay? So for me personally, I work during the day and I sleep at night. So a good time for me would be, 4 a.m. I'm almost always guaranteed to be asleep at 4 a.m. I never stay up till 4 a.m. and I never wake up that early. So 4 a.m. is a great time for me to set here. You can set any time you want. You can set it in the AM or the PM. I would caution one thing though. I would not set this between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. If you live in a region of the country that has daylight savings time, where they're moving the clocks twice a year. They move them forward from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. and they move them also backwards from 2 a.m. to 1 a.m. Certain parts of the world do that twice a year. That could possibly affect this app in a way you don't want it to. So for that reason, if you want it to set it for 1 a.m., just set it for 12:59 a.m. If you want to set it for 2 a.m., set it to 2:01 a.m. But don't set it between 1 a.m. or 1:30 or 1:15 or 1:45 or 2 a.m. Don't, okay. It's not that it won't work, it's that it may confuse the app when, those 2 times a year where the clocks are moving. So I'm going to move it right here. It's on a dial like this. You can move it around, okay? And first I'm going to set my hour to 4. I could set it later. I could set it to 4:30 if I wanted to, okay? Or I could, if I move it back like this, okay? It changed it to 3 right there by doing that. But I'm going to just set it for 4 a.m. If I was a night shift worker and my life was, reversed, I might be setting it to 4 p.m. And that is a handy feature of this. If you are on a night shift worker, it may be hard to track, when you should be eating and when you shouldn't be eating, okay? And when a day starts and when a day doesn't start. But if you did this, then basically at 4 p.m. every day, you would roll from one day to the next and your directions would change. So basically, you'd possibly be eating in the morning until about 11 a.m. and maybe you go to bed at 11 a.m. and you sleep till 7 p.m. So and then while you sleep, you would change from one day to the next and your directions would change. Okay, but anyways, most people will be setting a time in the AM. So I'm going to just do that right like that. And when I'm ready to set the new sleep time, I hit the button, set new sleep time. And it's going to ask me to confirm that I want to set my sleep time to 4 a.m. And I'm going to hit yes. And I have now set it. So now here is I'm back at this screen telling me what needs to still be done. And you can see that it's still asking me to set my target weight and a date associated with that target weight. But the other 2 things that I had to do, create the profile and to set the sleep time, they've been done, okay? So as you can see here, they're still on the menu. Once we officially start the diet, it will say alter profile and alter target weight. But for now, it still says set weight. So anyways, we have one thing left to do before we can start the diet, and that's to set our target weight and date.